Hey everybody, how you doing? It is Chris from Everyday Christian. We're going to read a crazy, wild story today. It's called Genesis chapter 19. It's the story about Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, in this, there's a couple different stories that are going on at the same time, but definitely continues on. And you know what? Let's just start reading it. All right, excuse me. That evening, the two angels came into the entrance of the city of Sodom. Now, if you remember Genesis chapter 18, Abraham, who's Abraham now, was talking with the Lord. Hey, Lord, if there's like 50 people down there and, that are righteous, we're not going to like burn that place up. Lord's like, hey, great. I like it. We're not going to burn it. And Abraham went to 45, 40. He's almost sounding like an auctioneer at this point, like 45, 40, 30, 20. And he finally gets to 10. And after all of this, hey Lord, look, if there's like 10 people, obviously the Lord knows what he's talking about. And he's talking about saving his nephew. But he said, hey, yeah, great. If there's 10 righteous people in that city down there, I'm not going to destroy it. So the two angels are now at the entrance of Sodom. Lot was sitting there, and when he saw them, he stood up to meet them. Then he welcomed them and bowed his face to the ground. My lords, he said, come to my house and wash your feet, and be my guests for the night. You may get up early in the morning and be on your way again. Oh, no, they replied. We'll just spend the night out here in the city square. But Lot insisted. So at last they went home. Lot prepared a feast for them, complete with fresh bread made without yeast, and they ate. But before they retired for the night, all the men of Sodom, all of them, young and old, came from all over the city and surrounded the house. They shouted at Lot, where are the men that came to spend the night with you? Bring them out so we can have sex with them. So Lot stepped outside to talk to them, shutting the door behind him. Please, my brothers, he begged, don't do such a wicked thing. Look, I have two virgin daughters. Let me bring them out and you can do with them as you wish. But please, leave these men alone, for they are my guests and are under my protection. Stand back, they shouted. This fellow came to town as an outsider, and now he's acting like our judge? No. We'll treat you far worse. It doesn't say no. I paraphrase that. We'll treat you far worse than those other men. And they lunged toward Lot and to break down his door. But the angels reached out, pulled Lot into the house, and bolted the door. Then they blinded all the men, all of them, which is throughout the city, young and old, who were at the door of the house. So they gave up trying to get inside. Meanwhile, the angels questioned Lot, do you have any other relatives here in the city? They asked. Get them out of this place. Your son-in-laws, sons, daughters, or anyone else, for we are about to destroy the city completely. The angels have seen what they need to see. Like, that's not going to work out. For we're about to destroy the city completely. The outcry against this place is so great that it has reached the Lord, and he has sent us here to destroy it. Meanwhile, oh, nope. That's the next. That was something I already read. Okay, here we go. We're sent here to destroy it. So Lot rushed out to tell his daughter's fiancés, quick, get out of the city. The Lord is about to destroy it. But the young men thought that he was only joking. At dawn, the next morning, the angels became insistent. Hurry, they said to Lot. Take your wife and your two daughters and get out of here. Who are here. Get out right now, or you will be swept away in the destruction of the city. When Lot hesitated, I love that part. When he hesitated, again, get out. And he's like, When he hesitated, the angel seized his hand in the hands of his wife and two daughters and rushed them out to safety outside the city, for the Lord was merciful. When they were safely outside of the city, one of the angels ordered, run for your lives and do not look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Escape to the mountains or you'll be swept away. Oh no, my lord, Lot begged. He's like getting, come on, let's go, we gotta go. Wait a minute. I can't go where you want me to go. Oh no, my lord, he said, or he begged. You have been so gracious to me and saved my life, and you have shown such great kindness, but I cannot go to the mountains. Disaster will catch up to me there, and I would soon die. See, there is a small village nearby. Please let me go there instead. Don't you see how small it is? Then my life will be saved. All right, the angel said, I will grant your request. I will not destroy the little village, but hurry. Escape to it, for I can do nothing until you arrive there. This explains why the little village was known as Zor, which means little place. Lot reached the village just as the sun was rising over the horizon. Then the Lord rained down fire and burning sulfur from the sky of Sodom and Gomorrah. He utterly destroyed them, along with the other cities and villages of the plain, wiping out all of the people and the vegetation. But Lot's wife looked back as she was following behind him, and she was turned into a pillar of salt. Abraham got up early that morning and hurried out to the place where he had stood in the Lord's presence. He looked out across the plain toward Sodom and Gomorrah and watched as columns of smoke rose from the cities like smoke from a furnace. But God had listened to Abraham's request and kept Lot safe, removing him from the disaster that engulfed the cities of the plain. Afterward, Lot left Zor, that little town, because he was afraid of the people there. And he went to live in a cave in the mountains with his two daughters. Sure. One day, the older daughter said to his sister, "There are no men left anywhere in this entire area, so we can't get married like everyone else. And our father will soon be too old to have children. Come, let's get him drunk with wine, and then we can have sex with him. That way, we will be able to preserve our family line through our father." So that night, they got him drunk with wine. The older daughter went in and had intercourse with her father. He was unaware of her lying down or getting back up again. The next morning, the older daughter said to her younger sister, "I had sex with our father last night. So," well, it doesn't say so, but my guess. "Let's get him drunk. Let's get him drunk with wine again tonight, and you can go in and have sex with him. That way, we can preserve our family line through our father." So that night, they got him drunk with wine again, and the younger daughter went in and had intercourse with him. As before, he was unaware of her lying down or getting back up again. As a result, both the Lot's daughters became pregnant by their own father. When the older daughter gave birth to a son, she named him Moab. He became the ancestor of the nation, now known as the Moabites. When the younger daughter gave birth to a son, she named him Ben-Ami. That's Ben/Ammi. He became the ancestor of a nation now known as the Amorites. And that is the entire story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, I read it straight through for a reason, because I could stop 100 different places in this story. There is a couple things, where we just talked about Abraham talking to the Lord. "Hey, Lord, if there's like 10 people, please don't, we're not going to burn this place down." And Lord's like, "Yeah, if there's 10 people." So the angels went there, right? Because they've already heard that this is such a wicked place. The Lord's heard it. And so sent the angels there. Lot was there, knew that they were angels. "My lords, come and wash your feet and be my guests. Spend the night. You can leave the next morning." They're like, "Nah, we'll just spend the night here in the square." And I'm glad they went with Lot, because after reading the rest of the story, I can only imagine, right? Not saying that they couldn't take care of themselves. Obviously, they blinded everybody. But anyway, it says, all the men of Sodom. I don't know how big this place is. It could be, 10 men. I think it's bigger than that, or it could be 1,000. I have no idea, but it says all of the men, young and old, came from all over the city and surrounded the house, right? They're like, "Hey, how about you bring those two angels out, and we can have sex with them." And so Lot was like, "Nah, this is not going to work out." One, no. Two, they're angels, and I have some daughters, because you're not touching these dudes, right? These are the Lord's angels. And so, stand back, get you inside. And then the angels were like, "Look, you need to get everybody out of here right now," right? Remember the conversation that Abraham and the Lord had. Hey, if there's 10 righteous people, well, they may have found, because I don't know the actual number, 4. And that would be Lot, his 2 daughters, and his wife, right? Again, I don't know, actually. I will speculate at the highest number is 4. So anyway, Lot went and told his daughter's fiancés. They were like, "Yeah, okay, cool. I'm not doing anything. I'm not worried about it." Next morning, city of the destructions. "Take your wife and your 2 daughters and get out of here." Lot was like, I'm going to hesitate. And then, they took him by the hand and basically dragged him out of the entire town. Hey, go live in the mountains. That's where we're going to send you. And he was like, nope, I'm probably going to die there. I'm going to go to this little town, please and thank you. I mean, more or less, right? It's probably less. But yeah, please, and they grant his request, and thank you. But Lot's wife, this is interesting. We don't know her name. I call her Salt. But Lot's wife looked back at as she was following him and turned into a pillar of salt. So it just says, and this is NLT version, Lot's wife looked back as she was following him, and in another version it says following behind him. In the Amplified version it says following behind him, and she turned back to look at the city, longing for that familiarity, for what she knew, for probably maybe even what she was used to. That's why I said 4 max, but I don't actually know who is all. Well, I can't even think of the word. Not religious. It's okay. I'll think of it eventually. But those who were right in the Lord's eyes, and so 4 max is what I can come up with. So anyway, she's longing for this stuff, and turned into a pillar of salt. Hey, the angels told you not to look back. What did she do? She longed for that old life. I don't think it ever says her name anywhere. I just call her Salt. Salt wife. Abraham got up early the next morning, looked out, but God had listened. This is verse 29. But God had listened to Abraham's request and kept Lot safe, removing him from the disaster that engulfed the cities of the plain. Now, that ends this weaving in and out story of, hey, God's sending his angels down. We're destroying the city because it's so wicked. Also, it finishes the Abraham, hey, save my nephew story, right? So those 2 stories are done. Now we have a 3rd story, right? Lot and his 2 daughters that went from the small town and to the mountains where they, I don't know what, didn't want to go, but now they feel safer there. Sure. I'm sure if they were to walk maybe a day or 4 days, I'm not really sure exactly where this place was located from the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure they could have found a husband. Just saying. It's still a small world, relatively small, with everybody in, well, I guess Tower Babel, but where they all spread out. But anyway, there's a lot of people in that area. Let's just go with that. And so, if you take a 4-day trail walk or whatever, you can find somebody. I guarantee it almost. That's not really a guarantee. You would probably find somebody 99.9% of the time. If you walk for 4 days in a certain direction, hey, let's go over to Egypt. Hey, let's go over toward this. Let's go over toward that. You could find somebody in 4 days. A lot of walking, don't get me wrong, but it is what it is. And so they were like, yeah, we're not going to find anybody. And so that's how they preserve their family heritage, is through their own father. So, as a lot of stories, it is a crazy, in my opinion, crazy chapter altogether, because there's a lot going on. And you have Lot at almost every corner be like, hold on, I kind of, I'm going to beg and plead and, well, and so you can see that he was, in my opinion, almost hesitant as well. Just be like, I kind of don't really care to leave. I don't know. There's a lot of things that go on in our life, and we either will be obedient to that, but Lord, wait, I don't know if I can do that because XYZ. I know you've said we should probably do this, Lord, but I've got work tomorrow, or whatever the excuse is. Um, you can kind of look at it that route, but at the end of the day, Sodom and Gomorrah was highly wicked. Lot was very hesitant, but the angels saved them because of the prayers and Abraham talking to the Lord, and Lot's daughters preserved their family line or lineage in a cave. That's all I got. There's probably a lot more that I'm missing. I highly encourage that you all do your own research. I don't know everything there is to know about the Bible. I don't know everything there is to know about life or about Jesus or about none of that. I am just a regular dude who's reading the book of Genesis online. So please, if you have any questions, either write it down in the comments, do some research. Again, I highly suggest that. And yeah, I mean, that's really all I got. So love you all. Be cool to each other. Be safe. Be blessed. We'll see you later.